Go.
So Enrique, tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Enrique. I'm retired Air Force, 25 years. Proudly served in the Air Force. Had a great time. Spent a lot of time in the Pacific, all the way from Thailand, Vietnam, Korea, Japan, Guam. From that area, I purposely stayed in that area because I was studying the martial arts, so it worked really well with my career in the Air Force. Retired after 25 years. The last 8 years I spent them at the Air Force Academy. Always been an outdoor person, never fishing. So I did a lot of hiking, I did a lot of biking. In my military career, I did a lot of rock climbing, teaching people how to rock climb. Did a lot of survivor training at the academy with the new cadets. And then got selected here. My wife and I decided to retire in Colorado, which is a beautiful country. And spent some time on the corporate world with telecom. Did really well, had the opportunity in the last couple of years to move to Washington, D.C. And my wife decided we're not moving, and it was the right time for me to retire. So I retired. When I retired 2.5 years ago, I started doing a lot of 3-day trips to the mountains, mountain bike, hiking gear, camping gear, loaded my CRV and just took off wherever I landed. I was out there up on the west of Morrison, a few miles up the mountain, saw this old man fishing, and on a very small creek, very similar to this, but not as rocky, but it really, and I was watching him, and he was catching fish. Nothing big, it's a small size, but he was catching fish. And so I walk up to him, and he was using what is called a tenkara rod. Never heard, I know what fly fishing was, but I've never done it. So he introduced me to what a tenkara rod was, and he mentioned, this is what we use in small creeks, small rod. So after a couple of minutes of trying, he says, he says, you never tried this? I go, no. He reaches out on his backpack, pulls another tenkara rod, introduces me to the good old purple zebra, which is my to-go fly. And I started fishing, and easy to cast, of course, with a tenkara rod because it's just a rod, just a you in the line. And after a couple of tries, caught my first fish on a tenkara rod with a purple zebra. I remember that specifically. And that was my first introduction to fly fishing. We spent the afternoon with him, ended up spending the night with him at his cabin. The next day, as I was leaving, I says, there's a expo, fly fishing expo coming up to Denver. And that was a weekend coming up. I think it was on a Wednesday that I met him. And on Saturday, he said, there's an expo coming up to Denver, and it's all about fly fishing. If you want to know about fly fishing, go there. So while I was there, I'm walking around, and I see Project Healing Waters fly fishing. And of course, the camouflage hat, which I always wear, gets my attention to see other people. I thought they were military hats, but they were the camouflage Project Healing Waters fly fishing calf mentor. So obviously that gets my attention. Walk in there and start talking to the guys, and they tell me, well, we are here to support the disabled veterans. And again, I am disabled, but it's one that I'm not very proud to talk about. It's just not something that I consider part of who I am. But I did take the opportunity to talk about him, and immediately I signed up. Within the first couple of weeks, I got my first live at Jenna Lake. Didn't know how to fly fish, didn't know how to type, didn't have equipment. And I remember specifically going there, and as a new fly fisherman, everything was there for me. The fly rods, the float tube. Got to fish on a float tube, and someone introduced me to fly fishing there, and I can't remember who it was. Was it anyway, the name would come up. So that was introduced to fly fishing at Jenna Lake. Got on the water on a float tube, and as you can imagine, there was a lot of missed hits. They put me on a streamer, which again I didn't know what a streamer was. Streamer, go deep. Streamer, go deep. Okay, set the hook. You got a fish on the line. Well, shit, you really? And of course, I had a lot of misses, but it was a great time. And that was my first introduction of fly fishing at Jenna Lake, real fly fishing. Caught a couple of fish, nothing to brag about, but it was a great day. The most wonderful thing about it is to be around a whole bunch of people that just love fly fishing. and then to know that most of them were disabled veterans, it was an incredible experience that I'll never forget. And ever since then, I'm hook 'em fly fishing, literally. I'm literally hook 'em fly fishing, and it's just been the way it is for me.
What would you tell another vet who hasn't tried fly fishing and doesn't know who Project Healing Waters is?
Definitely look into it. Get a hold of us. You will definitely get everything, all the information, all the equipment that you need to learn about fly fishing. Project Healing Waters will give you that. Not only would they provide you with the equipment, will they teach you how to cast, teach you how to build your own rod, and then if you venture into it, there's classes on how to tie your own flies, which have been completed. And it is just a beautiful environment to be around people that love fly fishing and love teaching, and love to be around people to share knowledge with people that don't have it. And most important, to take you places that you are going to be productive. It's not like it's a big deal, but November 14, 1242, first time that I caught my first fish with my own rod, with my own fly that I tied, but it's not important.
Nothing.
November 14, 1242. Who knows? It's only important to me. And that's what it's all about. Every fishing trip is an experience on its own. Wonderful people, wonderful help. The mentors are just incredible. I've always asked myself the question every time, what have I done to deserve this? Because Project Healing provides anything and everything that you need to know to have a great time, to forget about life and just come to places like this and catch fish and have a wonderful, wonderful time. So I was telling, I think I was mentioning a couple of weeks ago, I started writing a song. It's called, I Found a New Love at 65. And it's fly fishing. And I am telling you, that's literally what it is. I mean, a new love. I don't see myself, this summer has probably been the best summer that I've had in about 40 years of my life, because I've focused myself on fly fishing, learning everything that there is to know. And yes, I think I've learned about 1/100th of what there is to know about fly fishing. So I got a long ways to go, but this is the place to do it. Project Healing Waters provides you everything. The way that I describe Project Healing, I think recently, yesterday, I was with some friends that are not fly fishermen, and they said, you're so excited about life, what is it? So obviously, what a great opportunity to talk about Project Healing Waters. And I mentioned it to a friend of mine, he says, this is finally an organization that I find America taking care of disabled veterans. Like, there is so much money and so many organizations that are contributing to this cause because they know what it does to disabled veterans, and I've seen it personally. I used to work with individuals that had PTSD as a counselor, and I can tell you I have been more successful out here on the river or somewhere fly fishing than I was ever behind a desk talking to somebody about post-traumatic. You get over here, and before you realize, the conversation starts. So what did you do? What did you do? And before you realize, they start talking about it. They say, I've had this experience. And you are able to provide some guidance, and more than anything, just an ear for them to tell you what the experiences of their lives, and it has happened right here in these waters. So
cool.
That it? So thank you, Project Healing Waters.